All right, guys, I'm Mike Wald. This is Block Party, and we are coming to you after a loss. Thanks for watching. If you're enjoying the show, if you're enjoying the breakdowns, please hit that subscribe button. Give us a nice rating. Share us with some of your Packer family, NFL fans. You can find us on our Process to Perform channel. You can find us on the Andy Herman Pocket Day podcast as well on YouTube. So the Packers lose 16-22 to the Bears, and obviously a lot of things happen in this game, but when you watch the game in totality, if you turn off the announcers and just watch tape, this is another game where Micah Parsons wasn't there. We pressured a lot. Fantastic. We didn't generate much of a pass rush. I think we got our first four-man rush pressure from Rashawn Gary into the third quarter. I'll show it on tape. They ran for 5.8 yards a carry. They ran for, I think, over 150 yards. And it's a hell of a bad way to lose a football game. That multiple 2-minute drills by the Bears. And certainly when you watch this, there's opportunities on both sides. You have to tip your hat to Malik Willis. I thought he played a hell of a football game. 9 for 11, 121 yards, a touchdown. Really, he did a lot with his feet, 10 for 44. And he gave us an opportunity. I think the reality was this, defensively, as well as it looked for the majority of the game, Caleb Williams, you have to pressure the quarterback, especially in a guy like that. There's some plays I'll show you on tape right now that you just a little bit of a head scratch in the way we lined up. And this is an NFC North. This is now again a great rivalry. It looks like the Bears. I know there's a lot of math that you can go in. You win 2, lose 2. There's a lot of things that can happen, but it looks like the Bears are probably going to walk away in Ben Johnson's first year with the NFC title. I mean, let's hope they lose 2 and the Packers win 2. Don't get me wrong, but now we're talking about are we going to make the playoffs? What's that look like? What's the road forward? Is Jordan Love going to be okay after that concussion? It was a brutal. That was a brutal helmet to helmet. That. As part of old time football, like when I watch it now, I don't really blink, but you understand what the problems are, obviously in the game now. But I just go back to this from a physical standpoint. Are we playing a physical brand of football? Are we playing a physical brand of football in the trenches on both sides of the football? As our defensive tackles, are they able to hold up against what is a good Chicago Bears offensive line or whoever you're going to see in the playoffs? Like, these problems aren't going away. Something certainly is going to have to be addressed as we get into it a little bit more. But, this team, I'll start by saying I was surprised with the offensive line stand. I thought Jordan Morgan, starting at right tackle, I always do this, I understand why they're doing it. I thought that, and I do think that they did a pretty good job in the running game for the most part, especially dealing with a lot of the movement that Chicago Bears. There's a couple plays in here from a communication standpoint. Really, hats off. Aaron Banks had another good day inside as far as staying square to the line of scrimmage, moving guys off the spot. I thought Sean Ryan did as well. It just, for whatever reason, just wasn't enough. And we have injuries. Like, both teams have injuries. This is a tough ass football game. Tough ass football game to lose. Let's just go to the tape. I got some listener questions I want to answer for you guys after this, but enjoy the tape. We'll get back to it at the end. So the Packers decided to start Jordan Morgan at right tackle instead of Kennard. I thought that was interesting. Listen, the Packers, I can't remember the exact stats, but they were pretty decent in the run game. They averaged over, they were decent. I mean, the Bears were good. They were decent, but they did pretty good in the run game. I thought they did a really good job of adjusting some of the slant stuff. Then we know the Bears just aren't good at run defense. And, again, this is one of those situations where I say that, and then I go back and go, okay, the Bears give up like 5.2 yards per carry, and we were nowhere near that, so maybe it wasn't that good. But obviously, a couple of big hits in this game changed. Malik Willis played really, really well. I thought the interior of the offensive line did a pretty good job for the most part. It's always hard when you lose your quarterback. And even if you say, okay, Matt LaFleur took the reins off of Malik Willis a little bit more than maybe he has in times past when he had the week to prepare. You look at this game in totality, and you just realize like we didn't score enough points, and there's a couple of reasons for that, I think, as you watch this game. But you start off here, and it's like this is pretty close to starting off on the wrong foot, and obviously comes out to haunt a little bit later. But these are cool concepts, like moving, rotating into or motioning into a bunch. Then you got the basically the 2 spot routes. here and here, and you got the out down the bottom. Got a single man up high with a swing on the running back if you want it. Good way to start the game. Rally to the football. Let's get some more linemen around there. Let's just, what can you do to get? I'm always like, hey, what can we do? Can we do a little bit more to get better? Can we do a little bit more? Got a 3rd and 1 with Jumbo 13, Jumbo 12, however you want to call it, Jumbo 22. Excuse me. Wasn't sure about this penalty. You take it. I think they got, either way you're going to get holding on the tight end, no question. So a couple early things. The Bears really started off this game trying to hurt themselves, man. Whether it was the kickoff return or obviously early penalties when they were playing defense, we were playing offense. But we got a little 2x2 here. Out of gun. You can see they're playing their shell. Keep everything in front. I don't know if anybody throws a better football on this medium out route than Jordan Love does. He's got a little bit. Just talking about going to get a little bit of pressure right here as far as getting bowled into the quarterback's lap. But, God, he throws that ball well. I put this play in. It's kind of a comedy show. Like, sometimes this happens, and we almost lost. I mean, it sucks, but we almost lost Sean Ryan here. So we almost lose him because Rasheed Walker takes all of his heart and soul and just absolutely blasts Aaron Banks here. Not on purpose. They're trying to get a double up to the backside safety. But, man, he gives his heart and soul to this one, man. Just, bow! Just knocks that. I mean, we almost lost Sean Ryan there. Lucky. He's playing, just for those who are watching at home, he's playing at a pace right now where you look next year and he's like, he's your starting center. End stop. All right, so we go trips. This is a got-to-have-it play on 3rd down. They get what they want on that out route again with Watson. You can see the leverage. You can see the leverage that he plays with on this route. They're looking for this. They want to funnel to the safety on the inside. There's just really no lane there. I mean, it's a good ball, but tough throw. Really tough throw. So we got a jumbo package in again, 2nd and 6. Great run. Wanted to show this on the interior of the offensive line. Doing a really nice job here. Good doubles to the 2nd level. You look at Sean Ryan to the 2nd level. And that's what I'm kind of talking about with his footwork. Bang. Settled. Comes off, moves space. Great finish by old 7-1 there. Looking like KB. Huh? 97's a big boy now. Great job on the backside by Aaron Banks. Aaron Banks is getting really good at this. Really being that great bumper and then being able to finish. Down here on the goal line again, got this kind of trip. So we want to go 4 strong. I hate this damn play. I think this is 2nd down. So they go 4 strong over here with the motion so they can run the tight end screen. I mean, listen, there's rules for all this. Obviously you're going to go here, and then you're blocking, and you're probably trying to pump through or maybe bust it off. But this guy just comes scot-free. I mean, this play's doomed from the beginning. I just hate these plays, man. I guess I like them if they work, but I don't like this one. It's kind of game it was. So too many drives early on without points, substantial points. These got to be touchdowns. So we go under center. And this is where the wheels fall off. You got the play action pass. Kennard gets beat and just our guy actually absolutely gets trucked here. You can see that they're going to run the stunt. And usually, if this is a real run, they motion him in a little bit more, put him in a better position, but they leave him out here. I don't know if the Bears, kind of realize that, but we're going to see kind of crash in right here, try to make this play, and then release out. So we get the play action look that we want. But then this releases, oh, man. Did a pretty good job play side with the play action. Tough sledding. Malik Willis played really well. I mean, this fourth and one, he comes in and you just don't know what you're going to get. And, you don't know how many. The big thing is like the announcers don't know how much. Who knows how much tape they watched on him and blah blah blah. But man, he can do this in spades. He's really got some wheels on him. Good decision maker. Showed great poise in the pocket. Threw some great footballs. Fun to watch. We got a 1st and 10 here, and this is what I'm talking about. It's just a different kind of athleticism, really. Right here. I'll tell you, one guy who's never done that in his life is this guy. Athlete there. This is what could have been ball. We've seen this a lot with Musgrave and the deep over. They run the clear. But here they got Watson going backside and nobody's got him. This guy just out to lunch. Could have had one here. Ended up making a big play, but could have been a bigger play. It happens. You don't really expect that backside guy to be that open. Good throw, though. Deep over's been good for us. Showing man. Single safety. Everybody's up top. What a great job of like hesitating, waiting for the block to clear, and then just getting through the hole. Wilson really ran well last night. I think he really runs well usually, but obviously Jacobs being a little bit injured, having to step up. Watch Aaron Banks here. Great job of extending that and widening that hole. Show this play one more time. They had to make some sort of triple call here. This is a phenomenal pickup by this offensive line. So he's by himself, and they make a call here, and the center keeps going, and the backside guard ends up picking up the 2Y, which, I mean, you got to practice this one. That is just such a good job by old 7-1. And then Jordan Morgan on the backside, getting this extended just enough. You'd love to see the pad level lower and all, blah, 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 blah. But, man, this is a really good job backside of shutting the door on Grady Jarrett. Big run. We got ourselves a 2nd and 6, another under center look. A little tight end attached. And what a hole. What a hole by the offensive line here. Watch Aaron Banks on the backside. Now these guys are trying to move. So they're going to run a little stunt game here. So they want to spike this, bring him down, cross. He's gonna loop out, and Aaron Banks does such a good job of making this guy get off the line of scrimmage there that he creates that hole. If this guy's allowed to flatten and just cut him off here, and he's got to cut early, we got backside cutoff, we got backside guy spiking through, probably gonna make the play. But because he gets that vertical depth off the line of scrimmage, makes that play go. Little details, man. That is just, look at that fat finger. That is awesome. Yeah, that's just a great job at second level by Sean Ryan. I love that play. Fantastic job. Coming together. Got ourselves a 1st and 10 out of gun. Ugh, forgot about this. That's tough. And you saw early on, I don't know that he was talking about Morgan. I don't know if he was settled early on. You're kind of feeling your way out. I haven't played right tackle. Obviously, our best lineman is there usually, and you just see your hands are wide. You're just kind of begging for it here. Got the arms out, and you got big fella coming through with long arms. He's got a long arm, get you a little tent. We call that tent pulling. He just tent pulls him. Happens to everybody, man, but it's bad when it happens on Saturday Night Football. So here's our 3rd and 1 play. And you see what they were trying to do up top. They're trying to run a little pick right here. They're just going to try to pick this guy and get out in the flat, hit it quick. Got 70 blocking down here. Plays all set up, and Bears just do a great job of fighting through this. And there's nothing more to it. Thinks he can make the play, and it just doesn't happen. So it comes down to this, this 4th down play, and man, I listen. If you watch this again, Is he trying to hand it off right here? Like, the plan can't be to do a jet sweep right here. I mean, I guess it could, but if this was a failed jet sweep, that sucks. And it just kind of looks. I don't know if 16's like, I want to get a better fake. You're just not sure here. Just not sure what's happening because the line would block. Yep, it is. It's a jet sweep. Watch these guys. They're turning this down. They just want this play to run off this guy because he's going to crash because it's a third down. It's probably a good call. But, man, you just want to be able to say, I think that we can get a yard here. Let's go ahead and give ourselves a chance to get a yard. And they don't. And oy vey. Bad ball, guys. That's bad ball. All right, so we're going to look at the Packers D against the Bears. Listen, the Bears averaged, I think, 5.8 yards per carry last night. So if you watch this game, again, just watching tape, not listen to the announcers, not listen to all of that stuff, and just kind of turning the volume off, you're going like, why did the Bears throw the ball as much as they did when they were having such success in the run game? For the most part. And you just see the lack of honestly, you just see the lack of physicality. I mean, we've seen physical play here. We've seen physical play here in the past. And this isn't it. And this is, I think, second play of the football game. It's like, let's go, guys. Right down the barrel. Talk about those double teams. Just really moving people off the spot there. I think Carl Brooks had a rough night, 94. And it's just tough because I think this is a good offensive line and they do a good job with these doubles, but they really got, I think, exposed last night as far as being able to move on that interior, those D tackles. And that's going to be, as you work towards hopefully making the playoffs and then into the playoffs, this is the concern. So you got your spread shotgun here, 2x2. Pitch and catch. And I'm not going to do like a watch here on how much pressure we get or don't get, but these are pretty clean pockets. And this, the kid's got I don't know if he intentionally puts this low so Bullard doesn't knock this guy's block off, but it's a good throw. It's not Bullard, my bad. We go gun. They hit this timing right. I'm going to show this play again. I'm almost convinced with this play that the tackle is begging Van Ness to go inside with this flat-ass set. They're bringing guys off the back here. He's got to play contained, got to play into this guy. You just can't give the lane. And just watch how this plays out because you got the back leaving, and it's almost like he hesitates and then he's like just waiting for this and goes, especially with this pressure on the backside here. Let's take a look. It's just such a bad pass set that you just almost believe they have to be doing that. Pass rush plan. It's huge. So we get this 4th and 1, and Ben Johnson, if they lose this game, he looks back at the first drive and goes, this is where the game was lost. I know there's a lot that happens between now and then, but they go up 7 here. Easy drive. Quite frankly, quite an easy drive for them. And then they call this play. Get a yard. I'm a Packers fan, but why would you call this? It's crazy. I guess that worked in Detroit. Man. The way they were moving guys off the ball, it just didn't make sense to me. Got a 2nd and 8 here. They bring pressure. I'm not sure. Usually when you bring pressure here, the barrel, you got to have some looks. And usually you'd have somebody coming down here to grab this tight end and not McDuffie. Someone's got to have the back on the swing, right? I mean, that's wild. Finish the play here. I think this is McKinney. Just, that's not a good look. Got to bring fouls. We got to be the more physical team every single play. 2nd and 12. So it's interesting. So they kind of go robber here with McKinney. And, you know, when you've got 3 guys to this side and they see this early over, he's thinking, okay, they're probably going vertical. And then one of these 2 guys is probably going to come across and his eyes just go immediately. This could have been a monster play. He's like a half second off. Sees it late. You see his eyes go over there. No. As soon as he sees that seam, immediately, oh, man, that was close, so close. It's probably a house call. He can cover some ground, man. He's amazing. Okay, so they put tight end in the backfield as a fullback. They're in 13. And I think this is about the point Tom Brady's talking about how great we're tackling and how good everybody is, you know, not getting yards after contact with the Packers and how we're the best tackling team in the league. And they run for 10. Oh, man. Oh. But, you know, here's the real problem. I mean, look at the cover up here. I mean, you're just thinking about, you know, people have to win one-on-one. He really ends up blocking both. You know, we get up to this, no problem. The center is putting his ass in the hole in position blocking and is able to do it, which is just, I mean, frankly, it's just a no-no. Like, it just can't happen. That's bad ball. I mean, the center's reaching us. You know, this 2 is stepping to him fair. Man, that just can't. That stuff is bad. Got to be better here, obviously. That's the curse, though, when the announcer starts telling about how good you are at tackling. You got, you know, 2 of your strongest tacklers missed tackle in the same damn play. I put this play in for one reason. This is because this is the third quarter. 5 minutes left in the third quarter. It's the first time I actually saw pressure from a pass rusher on Caleb Williams. It's the first time I could be wrong. I think it's the first time we knocked him down with just a 4-man rush. So Rashawn Gary gets a little action on 75 here. He's a little stab and a rip under. Yep. Gets pressure. That's the first pressure we got third quarter. Again, I could be wrong on that, but I don't think I am. So check, this is we used to run, this is old Green Bay Packers. This is what we call waggle. So they're going to take this guard and they're going to pull him out, and he can bow out a little bit, and he's just going to help this play side to secure. And then this is a designed, what we call a half roll. So he's not really trying to roll all the way out. And all they do is they run all the same routes as if he was in the pocket. So when they get this deep cross, that's nothing for Caleb Williams from an arm standpoint. This is no problem for him. It's a good job by the Bears of just creating a new throwing point, moving the pocket a little bit. Again, we used to run this play all the time with Brett. Huge fan of it. Okay, so we're in DJ Moore fullback territories. They're going to bring him out here, and that just kind of softens this up at the end. But we're going to spike. They're going to take 2, wall this off. Got a win here. Got a single block. Backside B. And I think this is Brooks on the backside who just gets enveloped, and just this makes the play. We get 73 up on Quay, and it just can't happen. Coop's going to hold a little bit because of DJ Moore. But really, that backside 3-tech, just getting the door totally shut, just makes this way too easy. They've done a good job of utilizing DJ Moore in the backfield or on the line of scrimmage and just going backside a lot and just being able to hold either safety or that whole linebacker. Bears did a good job of this. It's not that we're not prepared, right? It's just you got your rules you got to play by. Just comes down to that backside 3-tech winning, though. Thought this was interesting because you just see the way that we line up here. I mean, he's already even. He's just going to exit the pocket. Only got 2 guys over here, 2 for 2. So he's gone. It's just some of these, sometimes as well as we played for most of the game, it's just these little details. And then I think this was after he slid for the, we thought it was first down. Got a call back. They got the 4th down and 1. So he decides to go head first here. Obviously in a little hurry-up mode. This game is so frantic at the end. Gun. Clean pocket. Nope. Reset. So they go gun, run up, kind of running two guys into the A gap here, and we end up winning. And then, I think this is third 20. So it's going to be just fourth and forever. He gets this call, and I'll show this on the back end, man, because it's devastating, really. Such good effort here for the pass rush. Got two wide threes. He wins inside, and then you just see this. You see the face mask. And, this is young guy trying to make plays, trying to get in the game. Gets up right here and gets excited, and then he's about to celebrate, and then he just looks down and sees that. And then it's like, oh, man. All right, we got a 2nd and 2. They chip out. End up getting pressure, but they run a little dagger concept over here. Bang. And in. Doesn't get a ton of reps. He's kind of widening for maybe a curl or something, but usually this is going to be an in-breaking route. You're kind of going to protect this in-breaking route because he's got outside leverage. It's just not in the right position. Obviously a great throw and catch, and it's 2 minutes. There's a lot going on here, right? We can just see that we're just dropping a little bit out of position here. Really hard play for Valentine to make, having outside leverage with an in-breaking cut that deep. So we get down to this, game's on the line, bring the house, 4th down, show everybody up. We're in cover. It looks like cover 0. And what happens up top? They're looking at this slant, and I still don't know who this guy is. It's one of that celebration was sick as hell, to be honest with you. But they're just gonna run the corner, and then in here they both bite. Just hesitate for a little bit. It just looks like a setup from the last time we played them. Ends up getting in, and this guy was just ready for the celly. It's on TikTok, man. All right, 2 plays I got to show. 3rd and 3 here. They run the fullback kind of counter play with Komet leading. 84 is coming up. 84 did a good job in the run game yesterday against our guys that you can't love. But 3rd and 3 play here, guys. And just look at the movement. And okay, so it's 3rd and 3. We'll start with that. So it's 3rd and 3. And we've decided to go 3 to a side. You get 2 linebackers walked up. So these guys weigh 300 plus pounds. These guys, he's 240, he's 230. It's not from 3rd and 3 with a team that's averaging 5.8 yards a carry in the game. Maybe not for me. I understand the call, but they're in 12. I know that doesn't mean necessarily that they're going to run the football, but that's a huge opportunity missed. You just see it from here. You really can't ask for more because you're effectively, on 3rd and 3, if you want to run anything inside, like these 2 players are not going to be part of this no matter what, right? They really got to make a mistake in order for those 2 guys to be able to be involved in this in any meaningful way. All they got to do is block back, 1, 2, just hold on to their blocks. Tough. And it all leads to this. This is just a hell of a good play. And again, they just go under center. They love this 13 personnel. Play action. And he's just got a simple read. He might really probably going 1 all the way to 2 back here, 2-man route with this, maybe running a wheel late. But he's like, let's just call a game. The confidence in this guy, he throws the ball. Hands are going in the pockets, man. He's getting his hand warmers out, ready to celebrate. There's just, we talked about it last week. These are some of the best athletes in the world, man. You give them opportunities to make plays like this in big time ball. This is This is why you practice right here. Oy. It was a hell of a game, though. That was a hell of a game. So, like you can see, like no sacks for the Green Bay Packers last night. Really didn't get a four-man pressure, and I think until the third quarter. Again, I could be wrong on that. But the Bears should have just kept running the football. I mean, first, if they do that head scratcher on the 4th-and-1 play, and then they run the football, I don't know that they don't win this outright. And listen, that's easy to say now in retrospect. I'm kind of watching it, knowing what the outcome was and watching the film. Can't say enough about Malik Willis and how much money he's earning himself right now. You need to get some guys healthy. Matthew, I don't know what's going on with Matthew Golden, but he didn't seem to be that involved in the game. You don't expect a Romeo Doubs to have that kind of play in special teams. You have to at some point, and Rich Bisaccia is such a well-regarded coach, not just special teams coordinator, but coach. He was the head coach for the Raiders at the interim basis, leader, all of those things. Like, seems they don't show up. Like, the special teams just doesn't show up. They haven't shown up really all year. Ever since Keyshawn Nixon stopped returning kicks, we don't even have that part of the game anymore. Maybe Marshawn Lynch was going to be that guy and he's hurt, but there's just nothing about that part of our team that you get excited about. And I think, there's things you have to address every year, but for me, it's how tough are we going to be at the line of scrimmage? And then, how are we going to fix these special teams? Obviously, we got some questions about Jordan Love and his ability to come back after that concussion. Usually the protocol, you feel good about them on a Saturday game being able to play the next week, but there's a very, very specific window and series of events that you have to go through in order for that to work. So I got a couple of listener questions I want to hit. Guys, if I don't get to them, it's because I'm trying to do this show on Sunday afternoon. So let me get these ones and then we'll go. Chris asks, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the lack of toughness from this O-line to defend their quarterback in back-to-back weeks. You can send the message to the defense without getting a flag. No one runs to Jordan or the aggressor. You know what? And I showed this, I think, on the tape. You just every once in a while, an old YouTube clip game will come up. One of my old games from way back when, or games with when we had Josh and TJ at guard, and we had Bakhtiari obviously at tackle, and Balaga, those guys. A couple, two different really, really good centers. And sometimes you just feel like there's at least always one guy who's just like getting down and just taking shots. I know the game's changed, but you just want this like sense of really physical play. And I think we did see that at times, particularly picking up the kind of the stunning stuff. And I showed it on tape, but I do agree that I don't know who that, or if we have enough guys that are confident enough now to really be able to finish. Yesterday was not a question of being tired. Oftentimes when guys don't finish just because they're tired, especially when you get in the third, fourth quarter. This to me is more, if you watch the, again, in totality of the season, this is more of just maybe those aren't those kind of players, or maybe they're just lacking the confidence to be able to go out and execute at the level that is kind of execute at a level from just like an automatic technical standpoint that you just have so much confidence. Like, I feel like I'm in the position to finish this guy off if I just run my feet a little more, if I extend my arm a little bit more, etc. So I look at all these things can happen in time, but if you're looking at like right now, what's going to happen right now against the teams we have to go up and play to get into the playoffs, and then hopefully in the playoffs, how that looks like, I think we're at where we're at. Hopefully Zach Tom comes back soon. Is Golden doing something wrong, or is his lack of targets circumstantial? Probably circumstantial. What you don't know about these offenses, and you saw it on both sides last night, and you've seen it, throughout the years, how many times are guys running the routes as Jordan Love intends, or is that Matt LaFleur intends? There's a lot of times in multiple games this year where guys are kind of, too bunched together, whether guys aren't finishing their routes. We saw it on both sides of the football yesterday. Maybe, guys aren't running through some things. There's a lot of routes in the NFL that we call them for the love of the game routes, which is like you have to run off a safety or run off a corner in order to open something up underneath. And if those guys happen to like drag down or sink down low, like you might get that ball, but you got to run like you're going to get that football every time. Does that happen every play? Are we breaking things off at the right times? Like all those questions are things that I can speculate on if we wanted to just do an all 22 breakdown of every route combination that's going on. We could go through that. Quite frankly, if you want to see that, Kurt Warner is better than anybody I've ever seen doing it, and he does a great job. I just go to his channel and watch that. But I don't know that Matthew Golden's doing anything in particular to prevent him from making more plays. But you have to remember, like Christian Watson's a number one wide receiver now. Romeo Dobbs has been a great player for this team. Jaden Reed's back. Like, you've got these guys all over the board. So it's not like Matthew Golden just walks in and he's like, oh, I'm the best receiver in the room, and I get plays where I'm the number one target all the time. That's not how this game works. Gary says, not for me. I'm avoiding all postmortem. I love it. Go Pack Go. Would you rather have a defense that leads the league in turnovers or yards after catch or yak? Wow, or yards after. Maybe that could be yards after contact. I'll go yards after contact. I'm still going to go turnovers because turnovers, if you want to be a football analyst or a stats guy, you're going to say turnovers are kind of the number one differentiator. Like, if you look at the, what are the chances of winning? How much do they go down every time you have a turnover? Every time your turnover is like -1, it's like goes down like 20%, 20%. It's just so significant. Having said that, I've seen a bunch of and you saw this game this week, like Tom Brady's on there talking about what a great job we do tackling, and then of course, knock on wood, we missed 2 tackles in that play, and we missed some tackles during the game that maybe are uncharacteristic. But when you have that much room to move, when you have that space for the checkdowns, like those things do happen, particularly when you're checking it down to a really good running back or a pair of good running backs that the Chicago Bears have. So I'm always going to go turnovers there, just because I know that, especially with an offense like ours, what you're really looking for is extra reps. So you're always trying to steal reps. So let's say you get, if you get somewhere around six series kind of guaranteed to you during a half, and you can get that up to 8, or you can get that up to 7. You can get 2 or 3 more during the game, whether it's because of an interception, a fumble recovery, something that happens on special teams, any of those things that give you extra reps from an offensive standpoint. Like, you've got to feel really good about being able to put points on the board, especially because a lot of those are going to come, between the 20s. And as we all know, the chances of you scoring for every, 10 yards you get closer to your own end zone go up, seismically. So I'm always going to go for turnovers. Outside of the one horrific rep everyone has seen by now, how is Morgan at right tackle? I think I said it on the tape. Interesting decision. If they're, who knows, we won't even speculate why. I watched the tape from Kennard last week and thought he played quite well. And I thought Jordan Morgan did a pretty good job sorting out a lot of the different things. And we talked about it, thinking that Kennard was going to start. Like, what was the biggest thing that Kennard had to do this week to be ready? It wasn't necessarily the pass pro, or and I think I showed a couple of those early plays where he wasn't. Jordan Morgan just didn't look quite settled, and he got opened up a couple times, and they're half second away from disaster. That happens. But it was the communication of the line of scrimmage. And I thought our line did a pretty good job for the most part of communicating the line of scrimmage, and then kind of understanding, like, okay, if my guy disappears, who's the next guy I got to go to? I thought he did a pretty good job of that. It's a hard thing because you bring in your backup quarterback, and the Bears are going to play a certain way until he kind of proves you can beat you. He can beat your secondary, and so a lot of things go into that as far as and Josh Jacobs isn't 100%. He's not playing that much. Wilson had a good game, but Wilson's not Josh Jacobs. I think everybody was a healthy Josh Jacobs, at least everybody would agree with that. So I thought he did pretty well. I thought he had a lot of good plays. I thought the interior had a lot of good plays. I was really kind of positive about another good game from our left guard and our center. I think our right guard came along and had a lot of physical football plays in that game, and you love all that, right? And it's not like our guys were back there, or Jordan Love was back there just getting his head beat in. When they bring pressure, when you do a lot of the deeper routes, the under center stuff, like, obviously he gets knocked out of the football game. Everybody goes, "Oh, you got to do a better job protecting him." Well, that was Kennard getting beat, and I think our right guard got bull rushed kind of back to Jordan Love late, but he had time to throw the football. Holding the ball for a little bit, and sometimes bad things happen. But this wasn't like you're watching the 2001 Bucks just running through everybody on the defensive line. That wasn't the case at all. So, John Randall was playing in Minnesota. They used to say you're throwing hot off the three technique when you go to Minnesota, right? Like it wasn't that. Like it's not that right now. So I thought he played. It's certainly one of those games where there's stuff to build on, as you pointed out. But not bad, not bad. Yeah, all all the questions we've got are they're either about physicality or this offensive line. So, guys, look, I mean, this is the hard part now is trying to figure out if Jordan Love's going to be ready to go. What's the status of Josh Jacobs in the knee? Is he in a position where should we just give Emmanuel Wilson the reps and then maybe we get him back for the last, maybe the week after? Talk about Josh and everybody else seemed to come out of the game okay. Obviously, we had the terrible Achilles injury with the tight end, and I don't know if he heard it like right before he got stabbed in the chest or as he was getting stabbed. That was because of it. It looks really, really bad on the replay. It's a damn shame. Obviously, that room is getting thinner and thinner. What do you do there? Like, what options do you have at that point with those guys? It's like, look at the Bears yesterday. They're missing two out of their three top receivers. Like, sometimes there's reasons for lack of production, and we like to just it's like you line up and you play, it doesn't matter, next man up mentality. But there's levels to how good the players are on your team. You're missing good players, you're not going to have the production that you necessarily want, regardless of what the locker room talk is or what you say to the media. It's just the reality of the sport. But that aside, listen, tough game. That game's going to go down. People are going to be watching that game for a long time. It was unfortunately we're on the wrong side of it. That was a hell of a football game and a hell of a comeback by Chicago. And Bears rivalry is back, man. I don't know what to say about it. I think Ben Johnson's just done an incredible job. I can't get over, and this is not the first week where we are talking about the physicality inside. And I think the defensive tackle position, go back to the beginning of the season, but Kenny Clark, TJ Slayton not being there, Devontae Wyatt getting hurt. Carl Brooks had a rough game yesterday. Carl's a friend of the show, and it's shit happens, man. It's tough, but when you have a rough game inside and you're playing against a team that loves to run the football, like it is really, really difficult to be successful. And when you have a team run for over 150 yards on you, it's not that you deserve to lose, but don't be surprised. Just don't be surprised. So, guys, that's a wrap for the show. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the breakdown, hit me up. Questions, comments. I appreciate that. MikeWall68 on Twitter, X, Process to Perform on Instagram, YouTube. Hit us up on our Process to Perform channel. Give us, subscribe, rate, and review, do all that stuff. It'll be on the Andy Herman's Back a Day podcast channel as well. Thanks to them for putting us up on the platform, reaching more viewers. Guys, enjoy the week. We'll have a preview show out by the end of the week. And enjoy the holidays, people.